I'm pretty excited about this week's podcast. I have probably one of the biggest lunatics coming on. I've never met Corey Phillpott before. We chat to each other on social and stuff, but this man is taking a 45-kilo log and he is training for an Ironman distance triathlon. So just think about that before we say hello. A 45-kilo log for an Ironman distance triathlon. Like most people we talk to want to lose 45 kilos. You're strapping 45 kilos on and thinking, you know what? What's an Ironman swim? It's 3.8. 3.8. You've got your full marathon, and then how are you doing the bike?
Yeah, so it's 3.8k swim.
Yep.
180k bike ride.
With a log?
And then followed by finish with a marathon.
With a log.
With a log, yeah.
I should say, how are you, mate? Because everyone's just gone, who is this? Corey Phillpott. So I'm sorry, I just keep, every time I picture that in my head, I start laughing. I've been watching your pictures on Insta. What is your Insta? Let's throw it out there now.
It's Corey Phillpott _
Beautiful. Mate, we might rip in and have a good chat. What do you reckon?
Let's do it.
Welcome to the Body Science Podcast. As always, the information contained in this podcast is for the information purposes only and is not designed to diagnose or be prescriptive to treat, prevent, or manage any injury, disease, or other health-related condition.
Welcome to Body Science HQ, the world of fit, happy, healthy. I'm going to throw on the end of that 45 kilos of the worst swim, run, bike event that known to man. It's known as an Ironman distance triathlon. And I've got Corey here, and he's decided to strap a 45-kilo log to himself. And the first thing I want to know, how do you do that? And the second thing I want to know is, why do you do that? Like, they're probably the two biggest questions that people need to know here. So, mate, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, I mean, I come from a sporting, healthy background. Stuff like that. So it's all good there, and went down a path of drug addiction and obesity there in my early teens, and popped out the other end. And when I popped out the other end, I decided I basically got forced into running 21Ks at about 125, 128 kilos.
Wow. I
ran a half marathon with zero training. Now here I am doing this crazy stuff.
Have you got some type of special genetical knee going there, or what? What'd you say, 125 kilos, no training, straight into a half marathon?
Yeah, so basically I used to play a high level of junior reps, rugby league and stuff like that. And I went down, when I exited reps once my pa passed away, he was like the big mentor in my life, and that's when I really started to struggle, as he was always there. He was taking me to my games as kind of like a father figure.
Yep.
And when he passed away, I decided to quit rep football and just go back to park football. And I guess we'd all know what park football is a little bit like when you get a bit rowdy with your mates. But I just took it to the next extreme. So in a year, I ended up putting on close to 40 kilos I would put on in a year.
Wow.
Yeah, then I had a whole year of just partying and drinking, and taking drugs midweek. It was getting pretty serious. And
school nights, wow.
Yeah, and I was living out the Sutherland Shire then, so down there in Cronulla. I needed a change. And I knew that deep down, but the group I was surrounded with was not a good influence. I was driving home from a bender one night. I'm sorry if I'm telling this whole long story.
No,
but,
mate, I love it.
It would inspire a lot of people. And because imagine there's a lot more people in the same situation that they're stuck. I was driving home from a bender on a Sunday afternoon. I'd been going for about 4 days. I saw a train station and I pulled over to the side of the road, and me and my old man, we never had a good relationship growing up. My mum and him got divorced when I was 6. So, I was in contact with my dad, but the relationship wasn't there that every son needs from their father. I rung him, and if he hadn't have answered the phone, I probably wouldn't be here today. I said to him, I'm gone, I'm lost, I don't know what to do. And then he said to me, if you want to change, you'll come and move out with me and live with me. My dad's side of the family, they're all really healthy, really fit. A couple of them are ultra marathon runners and, Australian representatives and stuff like that in running. So it's, pretty good environment to be around. I moved out to the Blue Mountains, been about 4 years ago now. Ever since that moment, it was about 6 months in moving out here, and I was losing weight. It was good, and I was putting it back on, and I wasn't taking things too serious. My dad, he's a known ultra runner out here, and he runs all these crazy distances. And he woke me up I remember it so vividly. I could not even run about a K or 2Ks. We have this thing called the river run, and it's a 6-kilometer loop, and I couldn't even make it to one side of that. It would be 1.5 Ks. I couldn't even run that. My old man woke me up in the middle of winter, and it was 4:30 in the morning, and he goes, "Get up, I've already got your stuff packed. I'm sick of you being a fat shit. We're going to run a half marathon." I got up, and I think it was -3, -4. I went up and I ran a half marathon that morning, and ever since then, just changed my life.
Wow. Bit of tough love. You don't see a lot of that these days.
No, you don't.
No. And do you think that was a defining moment for you, tough love? Like you needed tough love to move on, or?
That was the kick up the butt I needed. But the big thing I really took out of that was I was always so used to at a younger age, when you're coming through those junior reps in football and you're just constantly training. I was always used to pushing yourself. So I loved that. Like I always had a deep passion for that. But when I went down my bad path, I lost it.
Yeah.
And running that half marathon, finishing it and collapsing on the floor because I cannot walk, I was like, oh, I miss this. Like,
that is awesome.
If I can do that with zero training,
yep.
What can I do with a bit of training?
Amazing.
And then here we are now.
Amazing. Did your dad run it with you, or was he there with you, or did he do his bit?
Yeah, he ran it with me that morning. Yeah, he ran it with a friend that morning. They're oldies. They like to stop and take scenic pictures and stuff like that, and get a selfie. And I said, I ain't stopping for a selfie. I need to keep on going because if I stop, I'm not starting back up again.
And it says here that you're outside of being an extreme athlete, which we'll jump in a second. Since you're a world record holder, so you've been busy.
Yeah. Just this March, I completed the world's strongest marathon, where I pulled a car for 42 kilometers to break the world record by, I think it was like 3.5 hours or something. Yeah.
There's actually a record for that.
Yeah. It's not. I need to actually explain this because
you do because I've got so many pictures going through my head right now.
Yeah, it's not a certified thing through Guinness. So there's a guy called Ross Edgley. You may have heard of him before. Yeah. He first created the world's strongest marathon, where he pulled a 1.4 ton car for 42 kilometers, and he did it in 19 and a half hours. And I thought that was phenomenal. And I actually saw that going through my bad stage. I read his book called The World's Fittest Book back when I was 17, and always had it in the back of my mind. And that's how the world's strongest marathon came about. I read his book again when I started getting fit again, just at the start of this pandemic, at the start of 2020. The start of 2019 it would have been. I said in 2021 I'm going to be completing the world's strongest marathon. Yeah, I ended up training. I did one training run. I pulled the car for like 100 meters. After pulling it for 100 meters, I said, yeah, I can do this.
Stop it.
And
Did you actually run a marathon at this stage? Did you done a marathon distance?
Yeah. I'd done ultras and stuff like that. I'd been down. I was down to 100. When I was losing all that weight, when I picked up running for a good couple of years there, all I did was run and just strength training. So I got down to about 85 kilos there. So I lost the 40 that I put on during the world's strongest marathon. As I gained heaps of weight. Weight pulls weight when you're pulling vehicles and trucks and stuff like that. So put on a fair bit of weight for that and muscle mass. But that was pretty crazy because Ross Edgley, it's actually not a Guinness World Record have a thing called the world's strongest marathon, but it's not the same weight as Ross Edgley pulled. It's actually a 900 kilo car. 750 kilo car, which is half the weight of what Ross pulled. And my whole thing was, I look up to Ross. Ross is a guy that I look up to, and if I'm going to beat someone, I want to beat him. So I had the opportunity to pull a 750 kilo car and get the Guinness World Record, or I had the opportunity to beat someone who is a, solidified, world-renowned extreme athlete. So that's what I decided to do, and I decided to actually pull 100 kilos more than Ross just to see what I could do. So, I ended up pulling 1.5 ton for 16 hours and 12 minutes, I think it was.
Did he reach out to you at the end of it?
No, he hasn't reached out yet, but heaps of people
tagged.
Come on,
Ross, get on.
So I'm sure he's seen.
Before we jump into what you're doing next, I need to talk about this a bit longer because I can't go to sleep tonight if I don't. And I'm just picturing myself lying in bed now going, how the fuck did you organise that? Like, what did you do? What made me start? How do I train for that, which you didn't, which is good to see? And where am I doing that? Like, you're talking a fair distance here and you're pulling a car at what speed?
Yeah, I was pulling it at about, we were going at about 5 Ks an hour or 4 Ks an hour. So it was really, really slow. And obviously it slowed down as time went on because you get fatigued and stuff like that. But the thing with that was I did it at this place called Jemison Park. It was a 1.5K loop. And we just kept on going around and around until I think it was 31 laps we had to do. We did 31 laps, but there was a little hill in my course which just killed me every single time.
Wow.
Every single time.
Wow. I'm just visualizing how bad that would be.
I went to actually speak to a lot of experts in, the health and fitness industry and, nutritionists to try and get nutritional advice. Like, we can't, unless we're out there testing you, we don't know how much you're losing. Like, I had people reach out, would you like to, help write my program for this? And they're like, we don't want to be the reason why you fail. This is a pretty big thing and we don't want to, be the reason why you fail. So like, you know what? I'll coach myself and I'll see where I can get with it. And yeah, it was pretty solid. It was just a test. Everything was just testing. Before the event, I'd only pulled the car 15 kilometers leading into the event. So I had to almost triple it going into the event. And there was a lot of sponsors that were sponsoring the event, saying, "Oh, are you sure you can do it? Are you sure you can do it?" And it's just, yeah, it was crazy.
Mate, that's
I
awesome.
even had family members in my inner circle saying to me, "Are you sure you don't want to change the date?" You know, and I was like, "Nah, we're doing it."
I think they just need to look in your eyes, because you've got the look in your eyes. Oh, I'm doing it. I can see that straight away. So tell me something. Did you meal during that? Did you stop? Did you just was it continuous, or was it you against time with breaks? How'd you do it?
Yeah, so we ended up deciding to do. So we decided to do 3 laps, which was 4.5 Ks every hour. And what would happen is we would do 3 laps.
Yep.
And I should have maybe a 15, 20-minute break, and then we'd go again. And we did that for, I think, the first 3 hours we ended up doing that. And I was just getting way too fatigued. I started cramping. Everything started going wrong that you wouldn't want to go wrong that early in an event like that. And that's when the mental toughness side of things really, just had to take over. And then we ended up stopping every single lap. We ended up stopping, and I had someone there with a phone timer for 45 seconds every single lap. I had someone there with a timer, and we'd stop, we'd have a break. I'd get magnesium rubbed into my muscles. I'd have a quick bite to eat, and would go again.
Wow.
And so as soon as that 45 seconds, sometimes it felt like the shortest 45 seconds of my life. I'm like, oh shit, I need to go again.
Wow. That's just, and do you know how many calories you ate during that event? Did you keep a track with all that?
They actually, one of my mates calculated it. He was the guy. I had a mate come out, and he was a registered nurse, so he was doing all the first aid and stuff for me. And he came out and he stood next to me for the whole 16 hours. And I had a bottle of Lemonade and Tailwind in one bottle, and then in the other bottle I ended up having just water. And every single lap, he would walk beside me and tell me when to drink. He'd just shove it in my face saying, "You need to drink, you need to drink, you need to drink." So he was basically the person that was keeping me in mind of that. And I ended up having, I think it was 7,500 calories or something like that I consumed through fluids and solids. It was mainly all fluids that I was consuming. When I finished the event, I went to the men's room, and it was clear as day. So no yellow.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And post-event, how'd you go? Did you have a lot of issues and problems, or bounce back?
No, it was actually, like, muscle soreness-wise, I was actually surprisingly really good. The only thing that really affected me was my legs. I was bending down a lot, and my knuckles were rubbing on my quads, because I was trying to keep my back upright. With my knuckles rubbing in on my quads, I ended up getting blisters under the skin between the muscle and the skin layers on my quads.
Wow.
And I could barely bend my legs. That's what hurt the most. Yeah.
Wow. Things you wouldn't even think of.
Yeah, I know. I woke up the next day after it, and I was like, what the hell's going on? I almost couldn't even bend my legs. Like, that's how sore it was. Yeah.
So that was at the beginning of COVID, wasn't it? You did that?
Yeah, that was at the start of this year.
Yeah. Well,
so, March 2020, the 3rd of March.
And
2021.
Let's rip into this Ironman distance triathlon with a 45-kilo log.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to ask, is that some type of precedent there, or do you just sit in a chair and go, I've got a great idea? Look at that piece of wood over there. What does it weigh?
Well, same thing. There's a handful of people that I'd seen, and this is another thing that bounces back to Ross Edgley. It's in the same thing. It's in the world's fittest book.
Okay.
And but the thing is, it's not an Ironman distance triathlon. Now, I think from the research that I've done, I've found 4 people that have done an Olympic distance triathlon with a 45-kilo log with a 100-pound tree.
Okay.
And I'm going, oh yeah, Olympic distance triathlon sounds cool, but everyone's already done that. So I'm like, let's triple it and let's do an Ironman. So we're doing an Ironman now just to try and up everyone else again and see what the human body's capable of.
So have you got your favourite piece of 45-kilo wood that's going everywhere with you, or are you picking up new bits every time you go out? What's it look like? What are you doing?
I've got my favourite piece of timber with me.
Yep.
She's always strapped to the backpack that I've got on. We've just finalised the harness testing, which is good, which has got done late last week, sorry. Yeah, I've lacquered her up and we put oil in her so she floats when we swim, and because I'll be dragging her behind me. And so everything's
You're dragging it behind you for the swim. You're strapping it to your back for the
bike and the run.
For the bike, same harness?
Yep. Same system, yeah, same system.
What hurts the most wearing that?
My back, actually. The lower back, just all that strain on the lower back, you just got to really take care of it and maintain it. No, I think trying to stay on your toes while you're running, on your forefoot while you're running, your calves start burning up. But those are all things that we'll be working on over the next 13 weeks. But I think the things actually I've noticed the other day, I went and did a 6K run with the tree. The new backpack that we've got that's actually holding the log is rubbing against my spine. And I've actually put a hole in my Body Science shirt because of it, actually. And it was rubbing so much that I actually started to get blisters and burns on the middle of my back. And because I put a hole in my shirt, yeah. So we got to try and come up with a system, whether it's body rub or body glide, whatever, put it on my back to try and stop it from rubbing. So that hurt the most the other day. I didn't notice it till I got in the shower, actually.
Wow. Is it really important to look at the shape of a piece of wood when you're going to get that intimate with it?
Well, I don't want it to be super long.
Yep.
So we've got a hardwood out there. I'm not too sure what hardwood it is. We literally I was going for a walk one day and I saw something that was already cut down.
Yep.
I go, that's it. And I weighed it and it was about 50 kilos. So I just cut the ends off and
that's your piece
that
of
was
wood.
it. I've kept that same timber ever since.
Wow. So what are you focusing? Oh, I've got a million questions. This is going to become a question-a-thon you watch. Are you focusing more on the run, the bike, or the swim with the piece of wood?
Mainly the run.
Mainly the run.
Mainly the run, yeah. Well, I'd like to focus, like in training, I would focus. Swimming's a bit hard right now because in Sydney everything's locked down.
Yeah, okay.
We've gone for one swim, but we need a boat support to where that swim is. So I think in the next couple of weekends we'll head out on the boat again and do another swim. The swim thing I'm not too worried about. The bike I'm not too worried about. It's just going to be tough with all that sitting on that saddle for 8 or 9 hours with that amount of weight. And then the main thing we've been trying to focus on is just going from the bike to the run. A lot of people say that transition is one of the hardest in an Ironman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's the main thing we've been trying to focus on. And with the run, it basically all comes down to strength work. So for the run, we've been running, and running's cool, running's good, but if I don't have the strength my back doesn't have the strength, my legs don't have the strength to be able to carry that 45 kilo log for, 7 hours potentially, then it's going to be a horrible day. So mainly the strength work is the stuff we've really, really been focusing on.
And what type of exercise are you doing to combat that?
Just your general squats, deadlifts, hamstring curls, all that Nordics and stuff like that. Really, I'm really trying to focus on, and it's good because we're coming straight out of the carpool into this TREEMAN where I'm still trying to focus on the posterior chain. Core strength is vital as well. I'm not standing there doing, bodybuilding, shoulder press, bicep curls and all that stuff. I'm really trying to dial into where I hurt the most and where I need the most work done. Yeah.
Wow. And are you spending a lot of time with physios and chiros, etc.?
Physio, I go and get a checkup here and there whenever I feel a tiny little niggle.
Yep.
Grateful to have my physio sponsor up there. Yeah, acupuncture.
Okay.
You can get acupuncture once a week. Does the trick.
Yeah, nice. Good when you find your thing, isn't it?
Yeah, acupuncture's been a treat to me, especially because I do feel major soreness in that posterior chain and always feel any amount of rolling and stretching I do still isn't enough for the workload to keep it as loose as it needs to be.
Hey team, it's Greg from Body Science here. The Hydroxyburn Shred is back on shelf. It's our new therapeutic, has all the taste. And if you're looking for a better thermogenic, we've really pushed for the pursuit of a better thermogenic. Full disclosure on the labelling. What do we mean? Caffeine levels have changed. We all know the rules have changed. The ingredients have changed. The claims have changed. We have a clean label with premium quality ingredients for you. So what does that mean for you? You can look at things like metabolism, energy, sugar metabolism, fat metabolism, cognitive function, thyroid, and just general health and well-being. And it's all on the label. If you're taking a fat burner now and it doesn't say it on the label, have a look at it and go, why? Get on board. This Ironman distance triathlon with 45 kilo log is called a TREEMAN, or is that your nickname?
Yeah, that's my nickname. Because officially
I rate it just quietly.
Ironman.
Yeah,
I shouldn't be calling it an Ironman because I might get in a legal battle. So
yeah, we
TREEMAN it is.
Just looking at the why here, like probably people are sitting here going, okay, I see what he's doing, and I mean, you did paint a pretty cool picture of where you've been and where you've come from and what you want to be now. There's a lot of things you can do in life without carrying a 45 kilo log in an event that most people will never do themselves. What's the driver? What's the purpose here?
I think to inspire people. There's a lot of people out there that do find it tough just to go out and do a 1K run, a 2K run. And if someone sees me pulling a log pulling a car for a marathon, whatever, then they can go, shit, if he can do that, I can do my run, or I can go to the gym. If they see me getting up at 1 a.m. in the morning to go and work out before I have to go to work, then they'll get inspired by that. And I think it's a really, I guess, I don't know why I have these thoughts of like it's these personal goals that I want to set myself up for. It could be a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit selfish to say that I want to see myself as, I want people to look at me one day as one of the fittest people that have ever lived, potentially. As he's done X, Y, and Z in all these different categories. And is that an ultimate goal of mine? Yeah. And I'm happy to say it out loud. And, you can cop hate for saying stuff like that. But I think
care about the haters. Bring on what you're doing. The inspiration is just worthy.
That's it. I really just want to inspire others to, take that initial step in their fitness. And if that means me pulling a log and doing all this crazy stuff for that to happen, then I think I've done my job.
Are you sharing this with, closed groups? Are you, I know you've got, I catch you on Insta all the time and your photos are really inspirational. I love what you do. But are you getting the message out to a broader community, or is it you got to do the event, prove yourself, and then the story comes after? How have you set yourself up for this?
Well, I've just been posting on my social media, and that's how I've normally just rolled up. Not a really big social media and media person. I just try and get myself out and talking to people like you on podcasts, get the message out there. And I'm not really social tech savvy, to be honest, and all of that stuff. But I do get a lot of messages from people through social media saying, "Oh, thank you, like you've inspired me," especially post the events, like the post the World's Strongest Marathon. My DMs just went absolutely crazy for months and months and months of saying I've inspired people and blah blah. Obviously things have died down now, and need to get the momentum rolling again into this next. We've got 13 weeks to go. I think the last thing I did with the carpool, it's a bit hard now getting people involved, but with the carpool, every time I had a training on with the car, I would ask people to come down and run or walk laps with me.
Yeah, nice.
And I had hundreds of people come down and I was just posting in, community groups of near where I live saying, hey, come on down. And I had hundreds of random people just come down. And on event day, we had, I think it was like a couple thousand or whatever come down and, see me over the whole event and walk a couple Ks. And people had actually stayed the whole time and walked to their first marathon with me.
Wow.
And I was pulling the car. I said, if you can pull the car, I can walk the whole thing with you. And,
awesome.
things like that I see. It's a bit hard right now with COVID and all that stuff going on to do that kind of stuff. But when that stuff kind of happens, it's like, yeah, I'm doing my job right. It's really fulfilling. And then also getting my job done, what I've set out to do, is another goal in itself.
Nice. And man, obviously you mentioned a second ago that you still work during the day. It's not just all train. What keeps you busy during the day?
Yeah, I'm a carpenter.
Carpenter? Nice.
Yeah,
is that where the wood came from? The 45 kilo piece of wood?
Yeah.
You did say you took the edges off it to bring it back to 45 kilos, so you got some skills.
Yeah. No, I actually specialize in staircases. So yeah, I work for a staircase company. It's a pretty taxing job, pretty taxing on the body. But so one day my goal is to just got an athlete manager on board. So potentially I can hopefully maybe in the next 6 months or so take this on full time.
Yeah, nice.
Which will be phenomenal.
Great to hear. Are you out there talking to young kids stuck in drugs and stuck in the rut and not knowing whether have any groups reach out to you about your story to come and mentor, or are you doing anything in that space? Yeah,
so we actually been talking to a couple of footy clubs, young teams out there.
Yep.
And then also we had a couple of things lined up with PCYC, if you've heard of them. And
great organisation.
Yeah, all the events had fallen through because of all the COVID stuff that's been going on. So that stuff gets a bit tough. It's tough at the moment to do all that stuff, with underprivileged people that I'd like to target too, that come from have their own struggles, but sometimes some of them don't have access to Wi-Fi to do Zoom and stuff like that. So it's a bit tough with the PCYC right now. Yeah, no, it's definitely something. Footy season's cancelled and no one's going down to the club sheds and all that stuff. So it's tough right now, but definitely once I'll be looking to do more talks once everything opens back up. We'll be out there in the community trying to spread the message on exactly that.
Mate, if there's any community leaders out there or any sponsors that want to contact you, how do they get you?
Yeah, well, they can actually, if community leaders just want to talk to me to come have a chat, 2 people, just contact me directly. I've just, my Instagram's open. That's where I actually do all my business, which is Corey Phillpott _
So Phillpott is spelled PHILLPOTT.
Yep. And any sponsors want to come jump on board, and they can reach out to Advisors for Athletes and just ask for Ricardo, and he can sort you out with that.
So if they just Google advisors for athletes.
Yeah, advisors for athletes, and they can they're helping me out with everything like that right now. So because it's been a bit difficult for me going in as an individual person, you know, doing this crazy stuff. Everyone sees my emails and go, yeah, whatever, get real. Yeah. They don't until they see photos and videos that they go, oh shit, this is actually.
It is hard to visualize. I'll give you that little heads up.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
a couple of the pictures you sent me recently, I'm just going, wow. I can't even contemplate that. Like, it's the whole idea of what you're doing is so inspirational. Truly, truly inspirational. Well, mate, what have you got out? So what are you weighing at the moment?
Me, I'm weighing in at 96 at the moment. Weighed myself this morning. So we're dropping the kilos for this event.
Yep.
But I'm trying to keep maximum strength. So during the World's Strongest Marathon, I went up to 116 kilos. Mm-hmm. So I put on a bit of beef there. And I was looking chunky. And it's time to take it all down. By the time the event comes in about 13 weeks, I should be around 92, 91 kilos. I'm sitting there comfortably. So see what happens.
And let's look at your day on a plate. What are you doing on a plate these days?
Yeah, so I've actually got a meal sponsor, Athletes Nutrition.
Yeah, nice.
And just have some protein and yogurt in the morning.
Yep.
Got my BSE lean low carb shake coming right up, and I've got my ultra shred that I have in the morning, and then I've got then I'll have, like, for lunch it might be tandoori chicken and broccoli, and for dinner it might be lamb Slovakia with broccoli and beans and stuff like that. Portuguese chicken with potatoes. Just whatever I feel like that week, I'll put it on order and I'll get it sent to me, and I'll down it in my stomach because during the
World fairly conservative on the calories there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so you're trying to lose. So you're actually doing weight loss while you're training for this.
Yeah. I'm trying to. I'm feeling very, very tired. Don't you worry. Very tired.
Wow.
And
then people have also got to acknowledge that you're doing 8 hours on the tools as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've just
on
had
a good day. 8 hours on a good day. Yeah.
And I've just had a newborn.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Just had my second child. She was born a week ago.
Congratulations. Oh, wow. That's a newie. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're doing exceptionally well.
Yeah, it's averaging about maybe 4 hours sleep a night. It's all right.
Well, good time for planning. Let's put that down to planning.
Exactly right. But during the World's Strongest Marathon, I was on a seafood diet. Like, I was just eating everything.
Yep.
Anything I could get my hands on. If I was hungry, I'm just eating it. Even sometimes when I wasn't hungry, I'm like, oh shit, I got to get this meal in today. And I was just down it, and I ended up putting on. Yeah, I think I put on like 12 kilos or something like that. Yeah.
Look, I know you're about to do something crazy with the 45 kilos. I'm just going to say that all day. Someone at Body Science come in and tell me they're having a bad day today. I got the answer for you. This is probably a really stupid question, but people like you normally know this. What's next?
What's next? Well, we got the TREEMAN.
Yeah, I know that's huge. I mean, there's a focus for the next 13 weeks.
Yeah, we've got a couple things in the pipeline, but I'll have to tell you off air.
Secret stuff. Okay, cool.
They're still a bit secretive at the moment because I don't want people to. Even though people might not steal them, I think that they take a lot of planning, so they might not actually come to fruition. But they're just goals that we have over the next 5 years. Yep. Which I'll tell you about them off air.
So are you talking about there's going to be a worldwide TREEMAN series? You're going to see thousands of athletes rock up with 45 kilo logs on their back and do an Ironman?
I might have to.
I would love to see that. So where are you actually in just finishing up? So if anyone's out there that when are you kicking off your TREEMAN?
We're going to do it on the 11th of December.
11th of December. And where's that happening?
It's going to be around Penrith area.
Yep.
Penrith area. So Penrith local area is where we'll do it. Depending on, we're looking at all options at the moment, but with everything that's going on, it's going to have to stay local. We were going to do it out in the eastern suburbs in Bondi. We're mapping out a course out there. But I think it's the way things are going, we're planning to head local. If things open up and we can expand the event, we will definitely end up doing that.
You are.
I would love everyone to jump on board. We're working with Fund My Challenge too.
Oh, you are? With walks?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yep. Dan's recently brought me on board, so there are.
And that's up on the platform now?
It's not up on the platform yet. I think we were just speaking to Dan and that the other day. We're just trying to figure out what charity we're going to get onto.
Yep.
And we'll go from there because we ended up raising $45,000 for child abuse last event, which is good.
So not only are you doing all this inspirational stuff, you're actually raising money for others as well. You are an incredible human.
Yeah, you have to. You have to raise money through these things. They bring awareness on a global scale. So, you have to raise awareness to things where they matter.
And did the boys find you, or did you find the boys?
Yeah, Dan reached out to me. It would have been a couple of months ago now, just after the World's Strongest Marathon, and Dan said, "I love what you're doing," because I think he saw that we raised the 45 grand, and I just did that. I had no one. The thing I learned about this event, Greg, is that I was working full time, the father, the athlete who was training, and the event organizer. I was trying to look for sponsors. I was trying to get donations in, everything, TV interviews, podcasts, everything. And I realized that the athlete needs to be the athlete, and you need to get an event organizer just to organize everything for you. And that was one of the toughest things, that I had to do. But it was a good lesson. Like, I learned the ins and outs of what it takes to run an event like that, at that kind of scale. So it was good learning experience. Do I want to do it again? No, not really. But if I have to, I will.
Corey, you are truly inspirational, man. That is that's next level. I've been to Kona to see an Ironman, you know what I mean? And that is truly, truly inspirational. What you're doing is next level. Like, it is absolutely next level, and mate, go get it. That's all I can say.
Fingers crossed we can get it done in a respectable time.
What is your time you're aiming at? Are you throwing that out there yet or not?
Yeah, well, I think we're looking at least 17 hours, which I think is a pretty respectable time, especially with the log on my back. Man, my ultimate goal would just be to get it done no one's ever done it before, so there's no set time, but the ultimate goal is to get it done within cutoff time of an official Ironman. Yeah, but I'd like to, we're really going to push, and we've calculated the times and stuff like that I've been getting so far, and I think we can get between 16 and 17 hours if all nutrition and everything goes to plan.
You are a weapon. That's all I'm going to say. Anybody who wants to catch you, do you put your email address out anywhere?
Yeah. So it's phillpottcorey@gmail.com.
So PHILLPOTTCOREY@gmail.com.
Yeah, if any sponsors want to reach out, they can hit me there too, and I'll just forward it on.
Get on board. Unless you've got some last words for someone, or someone you really want to thank for being there for you, and we'll start with your partner.
She's amazing. Trust me. Yeah. She puts up with a lot of stuff.
That is one incredible person. Well, thanks for coming on board. Thanks for being part of our podcast. And I'll put in the show notes below, I'll put in all your contact details. I believe some people may want to contact you after having a listen.
I appreciate it, Greg. And thanks for having me on. I truly appreciate it. It was fun.
Mate. It's awesome.
Thank you.